Neil Young exclaimed once, "It's all one song." And that's what rock and roll is all about. People try to categorize and label things to fit their own narrow perspective, yet the lines are all blurry, the styles bleed into each other, and all blood is red. Long ago, in mystical times, rock and roll crawled out of the mud in the shape of the blues, somewhere in the deepest, darkest depths of the Mississippi Delta. On its journey, it began to inhale and ingest every form of music that crossed its path and created a soundscape as diverse as the human race. It all streams would intertwine through their one common ancestor and by defying gravity flow back into the blues. Folk used to be folk, the blues used to be the blues, country was both country and western, and rock and roll, despite being derived from the blues, used to be just that, rock and roll. Now, in this day and age, they all share elements of each other despite how they are labeled. The blues is Southern rock is hard rock is classic rock is country rock is folk rock is psychedelic rock is jam band rock is Southern rock, and Southern rock is the blues. It's all come full circle. Back in the day, when you still had record stores, some shops would place Kenny Wayne Shepherd strictly in the blues section. Now, Kenny Wayne truly has his own sound, but his chops are definitely inspired by another man who would walk that fine line between rock and blues, namely Stevie Ray Vaughan. In the wrong record store, Stevie might find a similar fate. In my younger years, I was not much of a straight blues fan, something that has luckily changed over time. Needless to say, if these two weren't placed in both the blues and rock and pop section, I would assume the store just didn't have them. In the case of Kenny Wayne, I wouldn't have even known he existed. Thankfully, my brother mentioned him once when discussing new music, and I was able to search him out despite this handicap. Kenny Wayne Shepherd is well regarded for his straight blues chops, yet I declare his Trouble Is album to be full-on rock, with many of the songs even crossing over into the Southern rock. Is Kenny Wayne Shepherd Band a Southern rock band? I don't know. I'll leave that up to you to decide. However, the fast-paced guitar wailing of Slow Ride would definitely fit into that genre, even with Noah Hunt's deep, powerful vocals falling into any and all categories. Now, nobody needs to argue that Lynyrd Skynyrd is Southern rock. They basically define the genre. But if released in this day and age, many of their songs could be labeled as country. And that really ain't a bad thing. Southern rock, after all, combines many elements of country with the blues and rock and roll. They were certainly capable of all three if you listen to the Ballad of Curtis Lowe, I Know a Little, or the hard rockin' track Working for MCA. In the 70s, outlaw country was making inroads into rock, and many a rock and roller was incorporating country elements into their songs. Yet nobody would ever declare Waylon Jennings or the Eagles to be Southern rock. That's its own brand, and you know it when you hear it. Working for MCA has always been one of my favorite Skynyrd tracks, mainly due to its hard rockin' riff and driving beat and the fun lyrics about Ronnie smiling at that Yankee slicker with a big old Southern grin. Skinner defined Southern rock, but the Allman Brothers basically created it. Yet their sound really transcends many genres. They came of age in the 60s when the music world was exploding in many colors. Listening to their extended jamming on Live at the Fillmore East, you know they had to be hitting the note with the hippie bands of that era. After all, the scene coming out of San Francisco was the one charging the way with never-ending songs. The Allman Brothers took the freak band's joy of experimentation and combined it with their Southern sensibilities. With that, and the love of the blues, R&B, and the sounds of the British invasion, they created a brand new style which bands still feed off to this day. Hoochie Coochie Man is their fast-paced take on the Muddy Waters classic, giving it their own groove and rhythm like rowing a canoe down a wild-flowing stream, an absolute fun joyride. Sisters Rebecca and Megan Lavelle, aka Lark and Poe, are one of the best additions to the world of blues rock in the last decade. They bring a fresh look at old classics and know how to pen quite a few great tracks of their own. They combine traditional Delta blues with more modern day influences and give each song, whether cover or original, their very own stamp. Lark and Poe combine their stomping blues style with a clapping beat and lyrics about the rocking roots of the South and back down South. The lead guitar of Tyler Bryant is pure Southern rock, sending Megan Lavelle's lap steel down the same path. They pay homage to the Southern legends who came before, from Little Richard to the Allman Brothers. They know their roots and do a great job honoring them with their own original Southern blues rock style. The most fun I have when DJing happens when I can find two bands whose songs feed brilliantly off each other. Rocks is probably Aerosmith's hardest rocking album, laying the groundwork for many hard and heavy acts to come. No other band seemed to capture this released ferocity more than Guns N' Roses. Aerosmith was the hardest rocking band of the late 70s and GNR of the late 80s and early 90s, kicking the known establishment in the face with their heavy riffs and renegade lyrics. Always loved to combine Rats in the Cellar with Locomotive. Both meld together perfectly in spirit and style, though neither sound the same, and they maintain their own identity. Hard, fast-paced rock and roll with blistering guitars, driving beats, and take no prisoner vocals.
Well, freshest day, you're on your way to the silver rain. 40 moons and alcohol couldn't change a thing. A frozen ghost ain't got no hope, can learn to sing. Oh, don't wait too long or you might get gone on a flowery spring.
The children of Led Zeppelin are many, though in the case of Black Mountain and Blues Pills, the influences are many too. Yet the Zepp has to be regarded as the godfathers of their style. They laid the groundwork with their combination of rock, folk, blues, and North African influences. Both Black Mountain and Blues Pills exhibit that style of combined genres and add their own varying influences and experiences of their own countries and their own age to produce a fresh and original catalog all their own. Next to Led Zeppelin, you can hear the influences of Jefferson Airplane and Black Sabbath in the style of Black Mountain, while Blues Pills gets the lead out with the faster pace of Deep Purple, Uriah Heep, and various krautrock giants. The Way to Gone and Elements of Things are starkly different from each other, yet both embrace the sound of the free-loving 60s and 70s viewed through the lens of the new millennium. Another one of my favorite combinations is Valley of Debris from Heartless Bastards and Four Sticks from Led Zeppelin. They complement each other perfectly and create a synergy of old and new, 70s and 2000s. They both catch a rolling rhythm driving the guitar soundscape and lyrics that create a sense of urgency. You feel like time is running away while you are being whirled around a spiraling waterspout of mystic psychedelia. The drums and voice are center stage until the guitars break through the walls of water and mist. You whirl and twirl in ecstasy until the quick end sends you hurling back into the now, only to begin with the next song again. Moe knows their rock and roll. You can hear influences from all over the rock universe in their style. At times they even combine Caribbean sounds into the mix, and many times that signature Southern style chugging train riff. Southern rock often sounds like a steam engine climbing its way through the Blue Ridge Mountains. You can hear that train fighting its way through the hills on Plane Crash, though this time it isn't a steam engine, but a high-speed European rail train, and the Blue Ridge Mountains have become the Catskill Mountains of New York. The train suddenly morphs into a Learjet flying through turbulent skies, thunder and lightning crashing all around in a psychedelic sky. It finds its true form again, steel wheels on steel tracks. Your train turns into a fast-moving Camaro speeding through the Catskills, gaining speed around every curve. It hits that perfect speed and stretch where not even the state troopers can catch you anymore. Plane Crash combines the adventurous jam sound of Allman Brothers, the blistering guitar lead massacres of Lynyrd Skynyrd and the Outlaws, and the heavy rocking edge of Northeast American hard rock. Jam rock at its best. Any Southern rock band can in any way be lumped in with the jam band sound of the 90s and 2000s, then it would have to be the Marshall Tucker Band. These Carolina country boys really don't get the credit they deserve when it comes to that adventurous style often found at hippie festivals across the United States. They have long been one of my all-time favorite bands, having created some of my all-time favorite songs. I remember seeing these guys live at the Flaming Mug in Fayetteville, North Carolina, flying high on a couple squares. They literally blew my mind with their virtuosity and joy of play. These guys could jam with the best of them. They created an eclectic world of American folklore and Southern life while incorporating elements of jazz, Western swing, and hippie rock into their heavy country influenced Southern rock style. Now they might argue the hippie thing, much like Steve Harris will argue about punk. I don't care because I can hear it in their sound. A New Life combines many of those styles while creating a cowboy movie feel like an old-time Western. The hero, after many trials and tribulations, can't wait to return into the arms of his lover. The pace, rhythm, and signature changes are like the southern landscape he travels, and the melody is his horse. The Marshall Tucker Band, in all its southern rock and country and western glory, is one of the earliest jam bands of the modern age. Hope you all enjoyed this selection. Would love to hear your feedback on all things southern rock. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to keep on rocking. Cheers.